In the words of Dave Shackelford in the chat, let's do this thing. Good evening, Bitcoiners. It is Brian, the UK Bitcoin Master, on location again for the final time. Today is the 30th of September 2021, 6 p.m. London time. And I must say, tomorrow we kick into Q4 of 2021. And a lot of commentators are saying it's all going to happen in Q4. Now, no crystal ball. We don't know what the heck's going to happen, do we? But we go into Q4 tomorrow. So exciting times ahead. Bitcoin to the Moon is in the house. Bitcoin to the Moon is down in Australia. Man, you need to be asleep, my good buddy. But I know that sometimes you can't sleep because you're so excited that the UK Bitcoin Master is going live. Just kidding. BTTM, great to have you in the house. Very quickly, Casso is with us. Welcome to you, Casso. Dave Shackelford, Yorkie Bitcoin. Alexis Menard, welcome everyone. My lovely wife, Elaine, is in the house. I don't think Bitcoin Meister said he pounded and he'd be back a little bit later, so I don't know whether you're back with us. Matty3623, great to have you in the house. Hastings Insurance Solution pounded and retweeted, but I don't think he can join us live. So Hastings, thank you for pounding that like button. Barefoot Barry's just joined us from New Zealand. Barry, good to see you in the house. Okay, if you want to shout out people, type in UK Bitcoin Master. I very gladly give you a shout out. Type in UK Bitcoin Master. It'll light it up in orange. I will see it and I'll gladly give you a shout out. Those in the 21 million club, my apologies. The email is coming out this evening or tomorrow about the next 21 million club meetup. If you are a regular on this show and you support this show and you want to know how you could be part of that private Zoom meeting once a month where we all get to know each other, then email me. In the show notes at the very, very bottom, you will find an email address and I will gladly tell you the criteria for being part of the 21 million club. But that email will be coming out. Forgive me, I've got some shadows on my face. I've tried to set this up so I don't get any, but it is what it is. I'll be back in the studio on Monday. So very quickly, for any noobs joining us either now or in the future, do your own research, people. Don't take anything I say as financial advice. It's not financial advice. You're not going to get charts here, TA or technical analysis. You're going to get none of that stuff. I just talk for half an hour or so about what makes me bullish in Bitcoin. If you are new, check out ukbitcoinmaster.com. That's where all my videos are. Everyone since I started live streaming, I believe in April 2018. Bitcoininterviews.com, that's where all the interviews are, and there's some great interviews in there, people. If you're new to all of this, I would strongly encourage you to go over to bitcoininterviews.com and check out those interviews with some really corking Bitcoiners, I have to say. I've also got a load of interviews lined up for October. They're probably going to spill into November, so do look out for those coming with some major big hitters in the Bitcoin community. BTC Cannon, welcome to you, sir, or howdy to you. Vinny Rondo has joined us. Vinny, great to have you in the house, as always, my good friend. For those of you looking to drop a tip, you'll notice that even after all this time, my subscribers are still nowhere near the 1,000, so people can drop a super chat. So if you want to drop a tip, you're going to need to use the Lightning network, tippin.me at UK Bitcoin Master. If you're new to all of this, people, download Wallet of Satoshi. It's an app to your phone. Once you've downloaded it, you can literally click send, obviously put some balance on it, and you can literally hold it up to my QR code on tippin.me at UK Bitcoin Master, and you can send some sats if you want. Now, you don't have to, but like Dave Shackelford is always doing, it's a great way to onboard noobs and show them the absolute power of the Bitcoin Lightning Network. You know, send, I don't know, 100 sats and it's like 4 cents or 5 cents or whatever it is. It's almost nothing at all. So if you mess it up and you get it wrong, it does not matter. So I would use that tippin.me at UK Bitcoin Master QR code, and I would certainly practice on that Lightning network if I were you, because Lightning is the future, people. Bitcoin, Lightning is the payment rails. This whole thing is playing out how we want it to play out. Massively, massively exciting. Badge has joined us. Badge Dobnik, welcome, Sir, another UK Bitcoiner joining us. Always great to have UK Bitcoiners in the room, as well as Australian Bitcoiners. We've got New Zealander Bitcoiners. We have got Phoenix, Arizona Bitcoiners. Who else have we got from another country somewhere around the world? I can never retain where you're all from, apart from a handful. Okay, I'm babbling enough. Let's go over and see what's going on right now with the Bitcoin price. You can see we're hovering around the $43,000 mark. We're in this sideways range right now, and I can just feel the apathy in the Bitcoin world because nothing is... Oh, Matthew Underhill. Sorry, Matt, I forgot I spotted you there. Nothing seems to be going on in the Bitcoin world. It's moving sideways. People are sort of Bitcoin, nothing much going on there. That is the time you dig deep. That is the time you stack sats. Bitcoin will always shock the heck out of us when we least expect it. Now, I don't know whether we're going to see a second half to this bull run, whether we're not, whether we're going to go sideways and 23 is going to look different. Willy Woo recently was saying that all the figures, all the stats look so different to 2013 and 2017's bull runs. So none of us know what's going to happen. There's only one thing we all know. And if you don't know this yet, learn about it. And that is that Bitcoin is the place to be. Bitcoin is the one shot we've got as a species of creating sound, hard money that no one or nothing can manipulate. Never ever been known in human living history. The reason we have so many wars, etc., is all due to money. It's all due to nation states infighting. Bitcoin deals and fixes all of this, which I find so exciting. Currently, 2,323 sats you will get for every dollar that you spend. So go and spend $10. You're going to get 2,323 sats, I believe. 23,230 sats. Spend 100, you're going to get 230,000 sats. Think about that. You spend $100 and you're going to get nearly 250,000 satoshis. You say that to anyone and they'll go, whoa, I'll have some of them for $100. You start talking of $100 worth of Bitcoin and they go, Bitcoin's 43,000. I've got no chance. It's all about getting rid of unit bias, people. And the way we do that is we start educating people on the fact that for just $1, if you're in America, obviously, you're going to get over 2,300 satoshis for your money. Then 10, then 100. That's the way I look at it. Paul Rouleau, great to have you in the house, Paul. As always, great to see you back with us. So that's enough of what's going on with the price. Now, I want to start this off, if I can come out of this for one moment, because I don't know whether I got that set up correctly. Just bear with me a minute, people. I want to start this show off, not by running the video, but by this tweet. Let's have a look at this tweet. Okay, I'm sure you're all aware of it. I'm sure you've heard all about it. Okay, but this friggin' woman who does my head in, even looking at her, she looks like some kind of flipping monster. Sorry, I shouldn't probably say that. I'll probably close my channel down now. But, the dirty, filthy fiat woman, has got something like almost $1,800,000 just for speaking events, And she, was at the Federal Reserve. Now she's the Treasury Secretary. Look what she said a few days ago. The US government will run out of money by October the 18th, says Janet Yellen. Now, there's obviously way more to that, but, just a statement like that can cause a frenzy. I don't know what that's going to do to the Bitcoin price. I haven't got a clue what it may or may not do. But there are commentators out there that have got their own viewpoints. And I'm going to run a short video now and let this one run from a couple of Bitcoiners in the space. Now, the disclaimer, they also deal and educate on altcoins as well. But you'll clearly hear him say that they are very, very bullish Bitcoiners. Yorkie Bitcoiner. Alex Svetsky reckons the bull run doesn't start until 1 sat equals 1 cent. Well, who knows, Yorkie? Maybe might not be here. Who knows? We'll see. It is what it is. I'm just holding for the long term. So let's run this short video from Toby Cunningham, for one half of the Crypto Tips duo, and see what they've got to say based on what Janet Yellen said.
This is some of the most bullish news for the price I've ever covered. Get into it.
Yeah, so we caught this one thanks to Eric Voorhees, but it came out that Secretary Yellen said this. It is imperative that Congress address the debt limit. If not, our current estimate is the Treasury will likely exhaust its extraordinary measures by October 18th. America would default for the first time in history.
Wow, that's a bit of a statement. Apparently, they may have defaulted before in 1971. But again, I'm not political. I'm not in the financial whizzes. I didn't know any of this until, 4.5 years ago when I got a phone call about Bitcoin. So I sort of can't comment on all of that. But they're saying that apparently that's not true. It happened before. Let's carry on.
From the time that the U.S. was off the gold standard, the U.S. dollar has lost an incredible amount of its value because there was literally gold kind of kept central banks in check a little bit. That's why they created the Vietnam War. It's because the main reason for the Vietnam War wasn't because of communism or whatever. It was because they needed to increase the money supply. What it's actually called is currency. What they print is currency. They don't print money. So let me go over a couple of these things, and I'm going to explain to you why this is so incredibly bullish. Okay, so this article was back in December 16th, 2020. It says, according to a graph from the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, just over 35% of all American dollars, U.S. dollars, ever printed by the U.S. government has been printed over the last 10 months.
35% of all US dollars in existence has been printed over the last, did he say 10 months? I mean, that is just colossal, isn't it? That's the money printer go, blah, 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 blah. I can't do that burr thing. It's absolutely crazy. And you can't print money like that without it affecting people, our incomes, prices of goods going up, etc. And we're already seeing it. I don't know what you guys are experiencing in the US, but boy, things are just skyrocketing here. We've had a fuel crisis because they couldn't get drivers. We've seen a litre of diesel over £1.50 a litre. Absolutely crazy. Food's going up. Everything's going up here.
Here is another article written July 2020. It says, here is quotations, the United States printed more money, currency, in June than in the first 2 centuries after its founding. Last month, which would be June 2020, the U.S. budget deficit, $864 billion, was larger than the total debt incurred from 1776 through the end of 1779. Now, why am I going over this, guys? It's because they will never quit printing. All right, they will never, not only will they never quit printing, but they will constantly increase their debt limits. Right now, the U.S. debt is the U.S. national debt is $28.8 trillion. Okay, now these people are bickering over like a debt limit. Let me just tell you that there is no oversight between the Federal Reserve, Congress, the Treasury. There's zero oversight. They can do whatever they want. They can print as much currency as they want. They all own, the Federal Reserve and the Treasury are essentially one entity. This is where they implement the CBDCs, or central bank digital currencies. And
that's really frightening in itself. But, when you're looking at the macro lens of Bitcoin, the world economy, etc., I mean, everything he's saying, it just makes me so flipping bullish on Bitcoin. It's not so bullish it's happening tomorrow, just so bullish on how this whole thing's evolving. I'm on the last few chapters of the audio book, The Sovereign Individual, right now, and 20 hours of listening, but quite heavy. But what they're saying is that, I think the book was written in 1998, I believe, by William Rees-Mogg and some guy from America. I can't remember his name. And they're actually saying that this is going to play out, over decades. I just hit a bit in the book where that they were saying that there's probably going to have to be some kind of epidemic or pandemic to teach people to lock them in their homes, to start controlling people, in the new century, the new millennium. Remember, this was 1998. And it just sent a shiver down my spine because this whole thing is playing out.
This is how with a central bank digital currency, you don't have any transparency. It's a totally closed source, non-transparent blockchain.
For you, it's very transparent for them.
For them, it's easy. Yeah, you can see whatever is going on. But for us, we're not going to know anything, right? And so what this is going to do is it's going to allow them to literally print whatever they want, even more so than they are now.
They have much more control over what they're printing as well.
Exactly. So it's all about the ease of printing more and more currency to devalue citizens' currency that they hand out. And it's also about more control. As Heidi has pointed out, with China, they are allowed to turn off the currency. Have an expiration date on their currency if they need to increase economic spending. Can you imagine that, having a expiration date on your currency?
Think about that then. Think about if what's happening in China came here or to the US, where if you don't spend what's in your bank, it'll expire and they'll take it back. I mean, that's just absolutely frightening to me. The control that these governments, if we don't stop them, are going to have in the future over us and everything we do, our identity, travel, what we spend, how much we spend, what we spend it on, why are we spending it on that? They can ask us questions. This part really, really freaks me out.
You to spend your currency, and it's all tied into a social credit system. That's going to be a lot of fun. So with that said, this is why I'm incredibly bullish on Bitcoin, because first of all, people are going to see this and go, it's just going to kind of reiterate, wow, the US is in a lot of trouble. Plus the US is a global reserve currency. Where do you think nations are going to go? Because they're going to see this and they're going to be really scared. And so, for instance, El Salvador, made Bitcoin legal tender. You're going to see a mass exodus out of US dollars into Bitcoin, in my opinion. I think this is just the beginning of it, especially now when they even talked about default. You don't hear a lot of times that the Federal Reserve is talking about defaulting on the debt. And so, it's going to scare a lot of creditors as well. And, what would you want to do if you were a creditor? I'd probably want to get out of the US dollar as fast as possible and find a harder asset, which is the Bitcoin, is the hardest asset in the history of the world, which we keep pounding on everybody's head. But yeah, I see this as an incredibly bullish, mind-boggling bullish article.
There you go. So that's just one YouTuber Bitcoiner's take on what this might do. Again, we haven't got a crystal ball, but I just try to bring to those that don't have their strong hands yet, or strong Bitcoin hand people. I always say that you've got to build it, but you've got to have patience. This doesn't play out overnight, this week, this month, this year. This plays out over decades, people. So start accumulating whatever you can and keep dollar cost averaging. Lance is in the house. Welcome, Lance. Casso's joined us. Great to have you, Casso. Dan Suffolk Bitcoiner is in the house as well. Again, if you want to shout out people, type in UK Bitcoin Master. I'll gladly give you a shout out. So Dan said, good evening. Oh, good evening. Yeah, good evening to you, Dan. Matthew Underhill. Brian, you'll definitely see one sat at 1 penny. That's equal to £1 million Bitcoin. Well, I'll have some of that then, Dan. Yeah, who knows, my friend, but yeah, that'll be absolutely superb. Bitcoin to the moon says strong hand. He is still awake. I'm doing some calculations here. It is just gone 6 p.m. here. That must be just gone 3 a.m. down in Australia, BTTM. So listen, you're either completely barking mad, my good friend, or you just don't like missing my show. Either way, it is great to have you in the chat. Now, the next video is going to come from Mr. Michael Saylor. Now, we all know Michael Saylor. We all know what he's put into Bitcoin, but he's going to be talking about the amount of developments that have taken place in the last 12 months within Bitcoin. We had 0 public companies holding Bitcoin before MicroStrategy, and now there's over 20. He goes through it. The amount of miners who have gone public. We need a channel between traditional and crypto. What's coming is going to be mind-blowing. So I guess this is where there's an argument between the Bitcoin maxis and those people that feel that, we need some regulation, or we need the big institutions to come in. I'm just middle ground. I don't bat away one argument. I listen to it all and try to evaluate. And I feel that I cannot see the big numbers coming until those institutions start to roll in. And there appears to be many reasons why they won't roll in right now. But let's just listen to what Michael Saylor has got to say.
Well, I think in every month for the past 13 months, there have been positive developments that give us more confidence in Bitcoin. The result of the election was a positive development. The regulatory regime, I think, is a positive development. I think we had 0 public companies holding Bitcoin before MicroStrategy, and now there's like 25 maybe. By the end of this year, we'll have about a dozen Bitcoin miners that have come public. And if you look at the success of the miners like Marathon and Riot, and I think I just read a few days ago that Hut 8 is doing a secondary offering. You've got SPACs in the work from TerraWolf. You've got Core Scientific coming public. You've had Coinbase come public, right? Since we last spoke, you've seen Coinbase not just come public in a $1 billion IPO. Coinbase also brought a $1 billion convertible offering to the market. And then just a couple of days ago, they brought a $1.5 billion junk bond offering to the market, and they upsized it to $2 billion. And they raised that money at 3.5%, a blended rate of 3.5% interest. So, what I've said from the beginning is it's important that we carve a channel between the ocean of traditional assets and the crypto pond, right? And the ocean of traditional assets is $100 trillion worth of debt, which is yielding nothing on a real basis. And it's whatever, 50 trillion, $80 trillion worth of global equity. And it's hundreds of trillions of dollars worth of commercial property and residential property. And it's $80 trillion worth of cash and cash equivalents and things like that. And the key to carving that channel is the public markets. And so in a world where there are no publicly traded companies, no listed registered companies that can actually cross the chasm, then the flow of capital into the entire industry is just retail. And what we've seen is a rotation, right? I mean, if you'd ask who's driving the industry a year ago, you would have said retail investors with 10, 20, 30, 125x leverage on an offshore exchange.
And he obviously then goes on to talk about, but we're seeing more of the investment community that's going to come into this. So however you see it, I personally feel there is so much to flow into Bitcoin. You heard what he talked about, all that, the trillions of debt, the 100 trillion of debt, or whatever he was talking about, and treasuries and everything else. We only want maybe 5% of all that to flow into Bitcoin. And, the thing is going to go $500,000, $1 million, etc. Again, no crystal ball here. But again, from a show perspective, what a great time to be alive. What a great time to be actually right in the middle of this Bitcoin adoption curve that we're in. And we are front running all these big institutions that aren't in this thing yet. So I know they can come in with millions and billions. And it's really interesting because, we talk about billion. I think MicroStrategy has something like, they bought about 3 billion of Bitcoin right now across the board. And yet, we throw the term billion around. We even throw the term trillion around now, don't we? And nobody stops to analyze this. But, I thought I had this moment the other day where I remember an old statistic, and that was if you lined up a million seconds, it's 11 days. If you line up 1 billion seconds, it's 31.5 years. Never mind trillions. So let's never lose sight of the billions that, like MicroStrategy have put in, and dare I say it, Tesla as well, because they haven't sold their Bitcoin. So, there is so much more to pile into this thing. There is so much going on behind the scenes, like check out Monday's show where I talked about the Lightning Network and Jack Mallers. I mean, that is where the energy and the excitement is right now. For me, I'm all in Bitcoin. I am solid as a rock Bitcoin. It doesn't matter what the price does short term. I'm going to keep stacking where I can. What I'm really excited about it now is what's going on in the Lightning space. And I'm loving playing around with the different Lightning Network wallets that are out there and just getting familiar with moving Lightning around. I've even got a Zebedee wallet now that is, I can't tell you the front bit, but it's /UK Bitcoin Master. So there's now a wallet coming already where your address, you can have it personalized to you. So I jumped onto Zebedee. It's more for gaming, I think. If you don't know what I mean, BTC Sessions did a show on Zebedee Lightning wallet and claiming your unique name. So my advice, even if you're not up with Lightning, get on Zebedee right now if you've got a username and claim your own username so nobody else can get it. So it's all going on, and I just find it like massively exciting. I really do. Steve Bruce, welcome to the show, sir. Great to have you in the house. I don't think I've missed anybody else out. No, I can only see Steve. Great to have you in the house. What is going on up there where I saw... Yeah, okay. Right, so I've got some tweets as always. So let me get back on over to the desktop. Before we do, quick shout out to Matthew. He's in the chat. He is a Bitcoiner like all of us. He's written this incredible book. Many people in the chat have got the book and read the book. If you're in the chat and you've got it and read it and you've got any comment on the book, good or bad, stick it in the chat right now. Let those people know that... that don't know about what this book is, how great it is for a noob, how easy reading, how it keeps you glued to it. Pop something in the chat if you've read it, people. I've read it 3 times, twice in paperback and once the audio book. Just go to Amazon and you'll find it there. That's .com for the US, .co.uk for the UK. It is there. Check it out. If you have read the book, can I encourage you to go back to Amazon and leave the book a review, because that is what really helps the book move to get more eyeballs on it. Now, you always hear me say, don't you, on the show, go back into the comments and leave a comment so that it gets more eyeballs on the show. It is no different for Matthew and the Bitcoin book to get more eyeballs to see it. And of course, when somebody goes to see it, if there's a load of reviews under it, more people are inclined to read the book. I've had loads of my US friends have got it as well and read it and said it was absolutely superb. Pastor Phil, for one, if you're not aware of it, go back in my archives and find the videos I did with Pastor Phil, Rocky Palumbo and myself, how we helped Phil get 14.2 Bitcoin back after he was scammed out of it by doing a firmware update on his Trezor. And it's really interesting. Somebody was reaching out to me about the Trezor, and it's quite hard in a DM explaining it, but somebody said to me in the early days of Bitcoin, when you are thinking of your security of the Bitcoin you hold, don't cut corners with money, because whether that Trezor is £100 or $100 or $50 or whatever, and you've only got $100 of Bitcoin, it's not the price of that Bitcoin today that you're protecting. It is the price of that Bitcoin in a decade, in 2 decades. So never ever cut corners when buying a Trezor, people. If you buy it and save a tenner on something like eBay, there is a high chance a hacker has bought that, they've got inside it, they've put a hack in there, they've resealed it, sent it back out to you, you open it, you put your Bitcoin on it, you wonder where your Bitcoin's gone, and it is gone because you bought it, but you were a cheapskate, you tried to save 10 or 20 quid. Don't do that, people. Buy it from Trezor.io, or if you go onto Trezor.io's site, at the bottom it gives you a list of their authorized resellers, and in the UK that is a company called alza.co.uk. It's either ALTZA or ALZA. I can't quite remember, but I got my Trezors from them being in the UK because they are a bona fide reseller of Trezor. Don't ever try and cut corners, people, because your family's financial future for generations to come rests on you being a cheapskate and cutting a corner because you don't want to pay 50 quid, you want to pay 30 quid. It is simply not worth it. Do not do it. Why do I have a link at the bottom saying I do consultations? Because again, the person that got me hot on my Trezor said to me, don't ever cut corners. Have a consultation, learn how to do the basics and learn what not to do, because Pastor Phil was doing a firmware update on his Trezor and he missed something in his URL, and the next day he had 0 Bitcoin, 14.2 gone. Is that worth it to you? Or is it worth checking out, the people out there that do consultations? I can tell you, unless somebody's going to do one for free, I'm the cheapest out there. You can do it in Bitcoin or you can do it in pounds. It doesn't matter to me. But do not try and cut corners, people, because, and I'll move on, your financial future for your family is at risk if you do. Dan says, hey, Brian, I'm really thinking about running a node. I am like you and not techie. Is it Dan? Stay on the call if you can. I know you got children. I'm going to come on to full nodes in a second, any second now. Dan, stay there. You're going to love this one. So check out the Bitcoin book. Okay, this is for Dan and anybody interested in running a full node. Rocky Palumbo pointed this out to me. Listen, I bought a hard drive. I bought an HDD instead of an SSD, and then it failed a couple of times and I had to go and spend a couple £100 on a SSD with no moving parts. I learned my lesson there. You got to buy the Raspberry Pi itself, the case, a little fan that goes on top, the little heat sinks that take the heat away. It all adds up. Here's a beautiful thing. This was on Twitter yesterday, I believe. Introducing the stunning all aluminium plug and play Umbrel server from Bitcoin Machines with a 1.8 display, 64-bit quad core CPU, 8 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte or 2, you choose. Look at that. You just plug it into your router and that is it. Now, why is that so exciting? Because this is the innovation, people. We've only just the last 6 months to a year been ranting on about Umbrel that didn't exist back then. And now all of a sudden, you've got an Umbrel ready to go, everything built in, plug and play, full node. Oh my flipping Picasso. I find this so massively exciting. I'm okay, mine's working a treat at home, but you can now get a plug and play machine and you've got the whole blockchain on it. Man, I'm so excited about that. This is the techno revolution that's taking place. And if this is already happening now in mid to late 2021, what are we going to have out there by 2022, 23, 24, 25? Every single home is going to naturally run a full Bitcoin node because there's a chance Bitcoin could be the world reserve currency. I don't know if it will, I don't know if it won't, but this is mega. Sorry to harp on so much, but it really isn't mega. And I don't think that's expensive at all in terms of what it gives you, the functionality and how it's going to secure your Bitcoin. And whatever you can link to it, that you can hide your privacy and, stop putting your IP address out there when you're doing anything, moving your Bitcoin around or adding Bitcoin. People don't understand. There's so much to learn. If you've got all your Bitcoin in, let's say you got, I don't know, for argument's sake, 5 Bitcoin and you've got it all in one address. Okay, if you plug your Trezor into the Trezor suite or Trezor.io on your computer and you send 0.1 of a Bitcoin, all of that Bitcoin goes. And that person you're sending 0.1 Bitcoin to, they can see your total Bitcoin holdings, even though 4.99, is that 0.1, comes back to you in what we call a change address. So you've got to learn about this stuff, people, and you've got to understand the absolute importance. If you're a pioneer in this, which you are, if you're on my show in 2021, you are so early. You've got to understand the importance of running something like this to protect your privacy as well as support the Bitcoin network. So absolutely love this plug and play node. Moving on, some tweets I found. Whoops, they're not resized, are they? There's one from Dylan Leclerc. He's a smart young guy from Bitcoin Magazine. He said, breaking. The people and institutions with the most to lose from the adoption of Bitcoin are not going to like it or encourage its use. Fair point. Preston Pish responded, just wait until we start taking the market cap away from them too. Think about that. People, this thing is happening, but it's happening so slow, people aren't noticing it happening, but it is happening nonetheless. Proud Zionist Jew is in the house. Zaza's joined us. Great to have you in the house again, Zaza. I've got this one from Stefan Livera. Sorry, I normally line these up beforehand. Governments around the world are in big debt and they're looking at where to get revenue. How many times have we heard this? Okay, Bitcoin and crypto is a tax grab. That is why they're going to change the laws around capital gains, wealth taxes where they can tax unrealized gains. So you don't even have to take some of your Bitcoin off the table and they'll be taxing you on your holdings. This is why the more private you can be now, this is so important. This is why we are seeing increased calls for wealth taxes, unrealized capital gains, changes to retirement account rules, and one flipping heck of a lot more. BTC Moon Guys in the house. Welcome to you. Great to have you in the house. And then we've got this one from Documenting Bitcoin. If you don't believe this thing's happening, Missouri Mayor Jason Stewart plans to give every household in Cool Valley $1,000 worth of Bitcoin. The project is already fully funded. Mayor Stewart is also looking to add Bitcoin to the town's balance sheet. It just goes on and on and on, even though the price is in the sideways range and there's nothing exciting going on. And you mention Bitcoin and Bitcoiners go, oh, how boring. Stay with that. Boring it is, steady, it's solid. Delay gratification. Don't go and get out of your position thinking you might be able to buy back in if it goes down again. Just stick with it. This might look different to 2013 and 2017, but I'm telling you, every 4 years the halving comes round. Then we get a supply squeeze. Then people want it and there isn't enough Bitcoin to go around. So just keep stacking those sats, people. I can't stress that enough. And then my quote, I found this one. I love it. Live as if you were to die tomorrow. If you knew you were going to die tomorrow, what would you do today? And I'm probably going to get some weird and funny comments in the chat now. Oh, well. Learn as if you were to live forever. Do you know something? I have just been absolutely hungry for education since getting into Bitcoin. Bitcoin education, money education, the history of the world education, obviously including money. I've been just eating audiobooks like mad because I just am so hungry to learn. So you want to learn as if you're going to live forever, because when you're learning, your brain is active, you are active, your body metabolism is active, you get excited about things, and that makes you feel alive, people. So live as if you were to die tomorrow and learn as if you were to live forever. So people, I am bullish about Bitcoin. Somebody said to me once, a lady said to me once, UK Bitcoin Master, you're bullish now because, we're in a bull run. What were you like in the bear markets? And if any of you are thinking that are new to my show, here's all I would say to you. I could say anything, couldn't I? Yeah, of course I'm bullish. But the proof of the pudding is in the eating. If you go back through my ukbitcoinmaster.com archives, find all my live streams from 2018 and 2019. And I defy any one of you to find a video that I did that was bearish in any way, shape or form. Why is that? Because I really got the 4-year cycle mega quickly. I understood it fast, and I got that you just can't have something going parabolic upwards. If it goes up, it has to come down, people. And when it comes down, there's an alt season, there's an ICO craze. We've got the NFT craze going on right now. We've got all the deal with Ethereum and DeFi. And some people will make fortunes. But I believe that most will get wrecked when this plays out. Bitcoin is the best. Listen to Greg Foss. If you don't know who Greg Foss is, find 3 or 4 shows ago, I had Greg Foss on my show. Over 30 years in the financial markets. This guy knows his stuff. And he says it is the best asymmetric bet you will ever find as a regular person to make money for you and your family just by buying and holding. And most people get itchy feet around holding. Don't do that. I'm a Bitcoin boomer, as the t-shirt says, but I'm old enough or young enough, whichever way you look at it, to know that this is the real deal, people. Stick at it. Stack your Satoshis, hold them strong, ignore the FUD out there, the fear, uncertainty and doubt that is out there. Go through my archives, find some more bullish shows. Check out Bitcoin Meister. He's in the chat as on his second backup channel as Proud Zionist Jew. If you're new, Bitcoin Meister has done, I don't know, must be 2,000 or more shows, or just up for 2,000. A lot of shows. And when I got into Bitcoin, I watched his show every single day, 24/7 for 4 years. And he taught me that mega strong hand. I think I already had an innate built-in mechanism to be strong-handed. I feel I had that, but Adam certainly helped me to refine that strong Bitcoin hand. So follow my channel, follow Bitcoin Meister, follow BTC Sessions, follow Swan Bitcoin, to name just 4 or 5 channels to follow, and you will develop your strong Bitcoin hand, people. That is it for my show. I ask you, please tweet this out if you do use Twitter. If you want to become part of our 21 million club, once a month meetup on Zoom, email me in the show notes and I'll happily give you the criteria. There is some criteria for that, and pretty straightforward, 3 or 4 basic things that I ask for. And we get to know each other as Bitcoiners. You know, we share ideas offline. It's a great meetup. Looking forward to the next one. You guys that are in the 21 million club, that email will be coming out either this evening or tomorrow morning. I meant to send it out after Monday's show and I just completely went out of my head. But please forgive me. I am on vacation, so I'm spending time with my lovely lady. But I'll be back on Monday, back in the studio, 6 p.m. London. Come and join me then for more bullish Bitcoin conversation. Please like this, share this, subscribe to the channel if you're new, bash the bell button, click all. You'll get notified. I go live every Monday and every Thursday at 6 p.m. UK time. And please, 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 if you can remember, go back into the show after it's finished, refresh it, go under the video and click on comments and leave a comment, people, because the more of you that do that, it will take 30 seconds, not even that. The more of you that do that, and I answer every one of them, okay, the more it will mess with YouTube's algorithms and the more it will keep this video relevant on YouTube, so more noobs, more retail can get into Bitcoin before those institutions pile in. Barry, where in the world's Brian, or where in the world's the UK Bitcoin Master could make a good NFT or T-shirt collection? Don't be a plonker. By this time next year, we could be millionaires, Rodney. People in the US, if you haven't seen the UK sitcom TV series Only Fools and Horses, you do not know what you've missed. Rodney and Del Boy Trotter, it is the most incredible one. And they did a show where they thought, and Del Boy kept saying to his brother Rodney, one day, Rodders, we're going to be millionaires. Thank you, Barefoot Barry. I'm out of here, people. Enjoy your weekend wherever you are in the world. Thanks for your support as always. I'll leave you with my social media links. Don't forget to tweet it out and mess around with YouTube's algorithms. I'm going to leave you here. I'm boring you to death probably. Catch you all on Monday. See ya.